Hello YouTube. So today I'll be talking about my heating and cooling system. I had an idea in my mind I've been thinking about for a long time. I started drawing it on a piece of paper. Then I went on YouTube and researched about using two tanks to heat up a house and cool at the same time. Well, just to heat up first. And then as I'm doing research, I learned more that you can tie it to solar collector. And I spent a lot of time on this. I got in contact with a company in US, and then they had a solution for heating. They have like a DOI. It's called, the company's called, I think, RadiantHeatCompany.com. But eventually, after so many research, I landed with this company. This company, the owner, Roger, I got to know him personally. I talk to him on the phone all the time. Great support, great service. He listens to my ideas, he views my plan and suggests modifications. And eventually we came up with a system that would, when it's done and complete, use a solar collector to heat the house, both for domestic and heating the house, and then use radiators upstairs for cooling. So he did the load calculation for me, and we eventually came up with a plan, which I have it on a document. I do a straight up YouTube video. I don't have time to edit, as you know, if you have been following me. Next time I'll do a separate video on the design itself. But today I will talk about how the system works in general. Okay. So in here, the smaller tank has 150 liters of glycol. It will have 150 liters of glycol. Glycol is expensive. 20-liter glycol costs close to $100. That's 50-50. 50% water, 50% glycol. That's what I'm going to be using. Now, to fill that tank, roughly $800 Canadian. Rogers, the company owners, recommended that I should also fill this with glycol and use closed loop system. But if I use an open loop system, which is running water through the heating circulation, what happens is that waters have minerals in them, and eventually these lessens the lifespan of the tanks, right? To avoid that, you suggested to use glycol. Right now, 500 liters for glycol is a lot of money because I'm under construction. So I wanted to store water in that tank and use a different way of heating it. You can see it's got a lot of inlets and outlets. One of them here is an outlet and inlet for the coils inside. So these are two coils. There is a lower coil and an upper coil. Okay? So the original plan was to never store water in here, just glycol. The glycol will stay there permanent until it eventually breaks down after 10, 20 years. But permanent in there and permanent in there. Just have, if I need for domestic, whatever heating that I'm doing to circulate through it. Now for this one, if I want domestic water, I will circulate cold water through this here, and I could use both coils. So lower tank, this one will tie. If I need it separate later on, I can do that, but that is another design. And use these two tanks. Cold water will enter there and will leave through here. It goes to my domestic system. So Roger designed, convinced me, because I had an idea that hot waters have to be really hot. No, he said, the best way is to keep this at around 120 Fahrenheit to heat the house. And then if I need to heat it even more for domestic, I can get another system over there, tankless hot water heater. The one I'm going to choose is called Eco 8. I think there's a good review on that. And that one will just receive the 120 Fahrenheit, and it will heat it up to maximum of 140, depending on my demand, right? What I call for, whoever uses a fixture at the time. And I have a PEX system. This is also watching videos on YouTube on how to get the most efficient domestic hot water system using trunk and a branch line. And that's like its own video, but that's how I'm gonna start. And I'll have my picks over here, okay? So the plan is that I have my well tank, which will split into T. A cold domestic will go in that tank, and then another cold will go straight to my fixtures. Now, like I said, putting 500 liters of what do you call it, glycol is a bit expensive. So for now, I'm going to store water. So if I store water, water will be stored in here. It will be heated by glycol going through. Instead of water, glycol going through these coils. It will heat the water, and the water that's stored will be used by my domestic. So whenever I use it, it goes down and it gets filled up by the well. Now, the side effect of that is water has minerals that damages the storage tank, right? Because this is just a storage tank. It doesn't heat up anything. Both are storage tanks. Because there's a magnesium rod in there. So if I'm not using this to store water, this will last for a long time. But if I'm using it to store water, it could get damaged. So after a year, I'm gonna flush this out when I set it in this house, and I'm gonna fill it with glycol. And I'm gonna make this a closed loop system, as well as that one. So the way it works outside, we have a heat pump still sitting outside. I'm gonna show you the heat pump. It's a big heat pump, massive heat pump right there. So that should heat up my house. My house, the floor is 48 inside by 47. So it's 2 floors. This floor here is 9 feet high. The second floor is 10 feet high. So it's a big house. So now that pump should be good enough, right? It doesn't stop there. If that pump fails, if that heat pump fails, a boiler will take over. And the building inspector does not care about that heat pump. You have to have a boiler. The boiler is the one that guarantees the load, because that's not a guaranteed system, because that system depends on how cold it gets outside. So you have to have a boiler, which this one is an 11 kilowatt boiler that heats up both the glycol in here and through the exchange for now. And this system I have, it heats up this water as well. I have 3 pumps as I start putting in one. By the way, I had to think ingenious way of using this packaging piece to keep this, because this is a very, very heavy device, and it will damage, if you don't secure it, it will damage your pipes. So I start working on that too. Same thing. This is my first line. It's not even crimped yet, and I needed some more of these. I went and bought today, and I have also 3-way valve over there. It's a slowly work in progress. I do a little bit every day. So yeah, like I said, I just lost my train of thought. So that is the heat pump outside. Now, in the future, that south side of the building, I'll have solar collector. So the solar collector is sized to heat up my house, both domestic and heating my house, right? For the entire year. Maybe a couple of times the heat pump might come over, might kick in, but that would be good enough to cover everything, right? So if I have a solar collector and if I have a solar panel to provide electricity, I am set this house will be net zero, because it's also R50 both in the attic and R50 in the walls too. So at that time, the heat pump outside will be a backup. and that is an emergency line. They could work together. They have to be on once in a while. They work together, and everything will work, including the tankless hot water heater that I have over there. So I have many systems that work in tangent and support each other, and eventually will zero the cost effective of how much it costs to heat this house. Just to do a small number, okay, I'm trying to advocate that everybody in Canada should do this, right? I'm trying to get into this business. I'm just installing it now, and I have a plan to get into it as a business. Now, this house, this system here cost me around $22,000 to heat the 5,000 square foot house. A regular furnace system, just the heating system, will cost you around that area too, even more, right? Some of you guys know. But this also cools and heats the house, okay? The solar collector is separate by itself. That's around $5,000. So the $5,000 to heat my house that I'm living in at 1,300 square foot, I'm renting a house. That house, okay, cost me around $250 for heating and cooling and electricity. So $5,000, if you're spending for a house these days, average about $200, $250, in 2-3 years it will pay itself off, the solar collector, and then after that it's free. So if it's that much, like going green and using the sun, if this much of, I like to go green. I like to use the sun, not because I want to save the planet, because I think right now that's the cheapest way. Okay? That's the cheapest way, that's why. So, and I want to be advocate for my system. Advocate for that idea. I will talk about the design of the heating and cooling, but this is just showing mostly the progress that I have right now. I started also, my cousin and his friend Samson, God bless them. They watched this video. I want to thank them a million. They installed this strapping for me, and that was done this weekend. Sometimes I still forget to close the doors, and birds get in and do a lot of damage. They've been nesting and I have so many problems. I think I probably may have a bird in here. I think I do. I hear them. Yeah, I hear the birds. Anyways, so this is for drywall. Strapping is done. I also have my plumbing. I did a little of plumbing. I want to show you. I was like brainstorming a lot about how I'm going to cut this, right? I used many ways of trying to cut this. Eventually, what worked? Sawzall. You just have to, when you use Sawzall, you just have to go on an angle like this. And that worked much more than, I bought this thing for 30 bucks online, a Chinese crap. And sorry for my language, but useless. It doesn't even barely turn. So it's garbage. So don't buy anything on Wish. Please. Please don't buy anything on Wish. Promise me. Anyways. So I use Sawzall. I may have overcut it, I think. I cut too much on one side. Maybe I didn't line up with the basement, that's why. But this is the only ICF cut I do for plumbing. I designed my plumbing really, really well. It's a lot of thinking, you know. My vents and stuff like that. I start putting my vents. I don't know if you can see them. See all my vents there? I don't know if you can see them. Right there, yeah. So I have my vents in. Plumbing, some of the plumbing came. I made a mistake on the flange. As actually the cutter for the flange is 5 1/4. I made a video on that. That was a mistake. It's not 6 inch. It's not 5 inch. It's 5 1/4. I want to show you. I bought it online. The saw, the hole saw, 5 1/4 hole saw. This one here. That's for the flange. Anyways, I need to close these windows because these pigeons come in here and cause a lot of damage. So So that's that. Also, I also purchased my electric panel, the 200 amp, and I'm making progress. I'm happy, you know. It's closing up. I start working on my IKEA panel, my IKEA cabinets. You can see these ones here, right? The drywall is going to be only one side. I move in, and then after I move in, I work on the drywall, putting electrical line and stuff like that. But just for now, just one side, right? A touch of everything, and I'm not going to finish everything up until I move in. But we put some of IKEA cabinets. I still need. I'm missing a lot of stuff, so. Yeah, and we put this together. You know, I do touch of everything, so I finished that tank there, and also downstairs a little bit of plumbing. But in general, I'm happy, making good progress. I never put PEX before. I just watched YouTube carefully, and I built this PEX first time. Came out great. Same with that one. You can do it yourself. Just watch YouTube, man. YouTube should be University of YouTube. It's one of the best things that's ever invented. I love YouTube. I'm addicted to YouTube. So, right here, these are also circulation pumps. Like I told you, I never throw out foams. I use them to insulate a house. So you can see there, I used a lot of it up there for the attic insulation. So I save a little bit of money there too. Also, I use them inside of here. They create some air pockets inside of here, okay? I also don't throw out scrap wood. You never know. I end up using them in between here, right? I never throw out wood skids, right? The 3/4 inch skids, these ones, I use them. I strip these. I strip this, and I use it for my strapping up there, some of it. And that's why I didn't purchase a whole complete for the house. I just calculated enough because I have some strappings that I could use up there too. Okay, some just ideas. I know I've been talking a lot today. And I got my PEX here, which I'm gonna have to build. I got the manifold for it. So I think it's gonna be a lot of work this week. And eventually I should be able to move in at the end of this week. I think I need to close these windows. So thank you, YouTube. You know, I appreciate some of my the viewers that are encouraging me to do more videos. I appreciate your support, and I'm doing this to share information. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so, and like this video as well. I'm not great with, even though I watch a lot of YouTube, I'm not great with the media system, and I'm just a rookie guy trying to build a house for my family. So far it's going great for me, and I'm so happy. Okay, thank you, bye.